Okay, y'all, you'll notice that your packet is kind of like weirdly printed. That was just an accident. It's not that big of a deal. I'm going to follow the actual numbers on the problems. I'm not going to follow the order in which we printed it. So use your imagination, use your reading skills, and figure out what we're dealing with. And sorry for the mistake. All right. This is going to be a problem that I end up solving anyways in class, like 7, 8, and 9 I'm going to work on today with y'all because we need help. But I'm going to do it anyways because we are going to talk about solving this inverse. So what does inverse mean on this level of math? On this level of math, what inverse means is switching out your x and y. And then when you're done, they want you to record your new answer under g of x. Now, what frustrates me is we should not be recording it as g of x. We should be recording it as f of negative 1x. This notation right here is in fact the inverse notation. So whenever you're all said and done, if you wanted to get a little bit of brownie points with me underneath your test, if you can write f of negative 1 equals x, that's the inverse notation. That's how we indicate, hey, we took the inverse of f. So that's my only thing about teaching it this way. I don't like that we're doing g of x. That's just too muddled for me. So with that said, go ahead and make sure you have that inverse notation down. I'm not going to take off if you don't do it, but I want you to have it. What does it mean, inverse? It means switch the x and y. Mister, there's no y here. I only see f of x. All right, I'm going to pretend no one asked that. You can replace the f of x with a y because f of x is basically just a fancy y. It's just a y with instructions. That's really all it is. So I replaced it. And now what does inverse means? It means switch the x and y. Just rewrite the entire thing, but switch it. X equals negative 1/2 times y minus 2 plus 3. On the quiz, most y'all got this part. Most y'all got 50 on the quiz for this particular problem because you knew to switch the x and y, but you did not know how to keep going the rest of the way. What do you do with this? How do you solve this stuff? The way you solve this stuff is you keep going. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me show you. You have to basically solve for y. So now you got to get y by itself. So what I'm going to do is there's multiple ways to solve this, but I'm going to distribute this 1/2. So when I have 1/2 times y, I'm going to end up with y over 2 because it's 1/2 y. 1/2 times negative 2 is negative 1. And then I have that plus 3 over here. And then this is equal to my x. You got to keep going. We want the y by itself. So negative 1 plus 3 is in fact a 2. So now I have a plus 2 on this side. Y over 2 equals x. Good for us. Now I got to move this 2 over. This minus 2 needs to be moved over, which I'm running out of room. So I'm going to say this is, hold on, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And I'm going to take us to step 5 over here because I'm out of room. So I'm going to move this 2 over on both sides. I'm going to take it over here. So that's x minus 2 equals y over 2. Now, in order to get rid of this 2, this says y divided by 2. So that means I got to multiply by 2 to get rid of it. So if I do it on one side, I must do it on the other side. That's the basic rules of algebra, y'all. I can't put my 2 there. Hold on one second. There. It's not pretty, but I fixed it. Now, this cancels out with the y. So this 2 and 2 cancels out, and now we have y equals. Now we distribute. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So you end up with y equals 2x minus 4. And on this next step, you can either follow the instruction on the test and replace it with g of x, but I prefer this, the actual inverse notation. The actual inverse notation, which means, hey, check it out. This equation is the inverse of this one up here. So that's what you get for your answer. So 2x minus 4 is what we find after all said and done. I'm going to solve each of these in separate videos.